wonderful gurus. Hi, my lovelies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right on into this sacred energy check-in. Now, this is where we're going to be building the foundation for 12, a mastery of the 12, okay? So you can think of it like the Council of 12 Codex, okay? This is where we're going to begin to build all of the information, all right? Is through these videos. Now, the first thing that I just want you to know is we're going to clear the energy and set the tone of this reading so the message can come through, all right? If you're new to the channel, we do a tone of 4, and that is for all 4 elements, all right? The first tone is going to be for the air energy, which is your thoughts, so we want to align your thoughts. And the next tone is going to be for the water element, which is your emotions and your intuition, so we're going to align those also. The third tone is going to be for the fire element, which is your action, okay, movement energy. All right. And the fourth tone, which is going to be the final tone, is going to be for the earth element. This is your manifestation in the physical realm. All right. Now, all 4 of these elements, when operating in coherence, all right, can really help you to navigate everything in this world a lot easier. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and sound the tone, and then we're going to begin this reading and this transmission. Here we go, y'all. Tone 1. Okay, so we've now set the tone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and break down to you how we're doing this pull. This is very specific to what we're building here. All right, so the energy coming through right now of this particular reading and this transmission is resonance physics. Okay, now the reason why we need to just get the basics of this without going into the science of resonance physics is because like frequencies amplify each other. Like frequencies amplify each other, which means energy match energy, okay? We're also going to be tapping into coherence versus incoherence as we're building this structure, all right? And you also need to know in resonance physics, the nervous system oscillates, right? AKA vibrates, all right? And your DNA is the antenna. So we're unpacking all of this in these videos, all right? In real time so you can understand how this works, all right? So let's set the tone of this message, all right? The tone of this message is soul time. Let me pull this back a little bit. I'm gonna have to aim this camera down a little bit. Okay, soul time and Gaia, all right? This is the overall energy that's coming through right now. Let me just tell you energetically before I even read what the message is on the cards, all right? First of all, when we're talking about soul time, you need to know that we're operating on 2 different timelines, okay? We're operating on the Gregorian calendar time system, and I already explained to you that time system has 3 hours running through it currently. We have the hour of disorder, the hour of passivity, and I think the hour of, I can't remember the third arrow, but there are 3 hours running through the current calendar. So the hour of disorder, the hour of passivity, and the hour of poor memory is what's running through the numerology of 2025, all right? However, we are using an ancient calendar system when we're doing these readings also. So our time that we're going to be working with is from the Bulgarian calendar system, which is one of the oldest ancient calendar system year to date that is credited to be the most accurate, okay? So they use a solar and a cosmic energy when using that calendar system, and the current calendar system that we use for 2025 only uses a solar calculation, all right? So they're missing everything that's happening in the heavens, all right? So just energetically, what you need to know about this message, because we all tapping into the resonance of physics, right? Which means like energy is going to match like energy and is going to amplify like energy, right? Now, coherence versus incoherence. When you are coherent of something, that means you are aware, you are clear, okay? You have a clear understanding, there's clarity. Where there's incoherence, there's chaos, and there's no clarity, all right? Now, that's important because when we're dealing with resonance, you're going to be pulling in what you're vibrating at, okay? And that's necessary for the time that we're in. So now, because we're using the ancient calendar system, that system approximately is about the year 7530, and that has a line of spirituality, numerology wise, going through that particular calendar. So that's the one we're working with. That calendar deals with the cosmos and the solar, the sun. And that's what we're working with when we're doing all of these videos and decoding any of the energy or tapping into any of the resonance that we're going to be working with, okay? So soul time energy, just energetically, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to choose what timeline you're operating from, okay? You cannot operate from the timeline of incoherence and think that you're going to pull in coherence, aka you cannot be operating from a timeline of chaos and think that you're going to pull in clarity and order. Okay, it doesn't work that way. All right, so whatever you're tapping into resonance wise, aka whatever you're meditating on all day every day, because keep in mind, meditation is not something that you just sit and do. Meditation is what you sit and you think about throughout the day. Whatever you're worrying about throughout the day, whatever you're thinking happily about throughout the day, that is also forms of meditative state. So you do need to understand that. Soul time is asking you to recognize the work that's going to be needed. This is no longer about embracing the light part of you only. You have to acknowledge that you have light and darkness within you, aka masculine energy, which is the light portion of it, the spark, feminine energy, which would be considered a dark portion of it, which will be, guess what? The womb, intuitive, creative energy, okay? Out of darkness comes light. Everything is birthed in that intuitive womb. So you do need to know that. When we talk about light and darkness over here, we're talking about masculine and feminine energy. You have to get comfortable with these terms, especially in the time that we're in, because they're being distorted and they're being misused, okay? Now, what timeline are you going to be operating from? Are you going to be operating from a timeline of old past things, old past decisions, old past mistakes that's keeping you stuck, right? That's keeping you in guilt, that's keeping you in shame, that's keeping you feeling like you're not worthy, right? That's keeping you thinking you a sinner. Okay, you have a choice as to choose how you're going to be moving in this energy and how this energy is going to be of service to you and how you are going to be of service, not just to other people, but also to yourself, your soul. Okay, so soul time reads, and let me just say numerology wise, this is 40. 40 equals to 4. The 4 placement is always about the doing aspect. The doing, there has to be a doing. There's work required when 4 shows up. Okay, soul time says the frequency of the soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Your soul is having multiple experiences at one time. Your soul is having multiple experiences at one time, right? So you could be having a hectic day at work and come home to the loving kindness from your dog and melt some of that stress away, right? You could be having a difficult day, right? And then you go pull up to a drive-thru to get you something to eat, and the cashier just makes your day an amazing afternoon. Your soul can go through multiple streams of emotions throughout the day, and that is important because your emotions is what guides your nervous system to oscillate, okay, and what allows your DNA strands, or aka your DNA antenna, right, to come online, right, and awake the dormant DNA that's been in your body for years that they're telling you is junk DNA, but it's not junk DNA, okay? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the past? or you're going to step into this new energy that you don't have a name for yet, that you can't explain, but you know it's different. Something feels different. Even when you look at the word, nothing is the same. It's different. You don't have a title for it. You don't have a name for it. You may not even have a word for it. All you know that there's difference there. There's a feeling of difference there. That is your soul asking you to expand past the old. Expand past what you thought you knew. Expand past what you thought you understood. Expand past your fear. Expand past your limitation. Okay? Gaia is also showing up in this tone. And just can I tell you, Gaia, Tiamat, however you want to put it, Earth, right? This is all about grounding energy. This is all about you being able to tap into what is yours to have, not just organically, sovereignly, but your birthright. This is your birthright. Your birthright is not to walk around in stress and fear. Your birthright is to experience the universe and the earth in its totality. Right? There's not just flat plains and earth. There's also mountains. There's ridges, right? So earth is just not, nothing is ever just flat. Nothing happens with just a flat wave unless it's stagnant energy that's dead. And energy doesn't die, it just transforms, right? So even when it's stagnant in this realm, on a lowest vibrational, it's operating in a different realm also, okay? So Gaia is showing up here, and Gaia is the frequency that reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are connected to the Great Mother and the universe that birthed us all. Soul Time is asking you to choose this new timeline that we're in and embrace everything that's yours to have. Everything that's yours to have, right? Aren't you tired of having experiences where it's all painful and challenging? Who the hell said that you cannot walk through life having blissful experiences? Who said that? Why do you always have to go through this struggle? It got to be a struggle. It does not have to be a struggle. But what I will tell you is this, right? Pain is an indication that you're stepping into another level if you're ready for that. Pain doesn't have to be a struggle. Pain can be an acknowledgement that a shift is needed. A shift is here. Change is here. Change is here. Remember, we're dealing with resonance physics, right? Like frequency is attracting like frequency. Incoherence energy cannot produce coherent clarity. Chaotic energy, if you're working in chaotic energy and you're operating in chaos, it cannot produce order. What can produce order in chaos is stillness, right? And this is where the oscillation of your nervous system comes in. Because if your nervous system is oscillating stress and fear and panic, right? Guess what you're going to attract? Stress, fear, and panic experiences. All right? All right, so next we're going to take a look at the looping energy, right? This is the tone. The tone is step into the newness, right? Like attract likes. Resonance physics. Resonance physics says like attracts like. This is the foundation that we're building of the 12, okay? This is our mastery of the 12. In the mastery of the 12, the basic level foundation of understanding is like attract like. Okay, and not just like attracts and like is going to amplify like. So if you were in a toxic trauma relationship, guess what? You guys just triggered each other and brought the trauma out more. You intensified that trauma. And I also want to let you know, divine union is here. Divine union is here. So if you've been in a place where you've been feeling like, you're saving yourself for something sacred, or you're saving yourself for someone special, and I'm not just talking about on a sexual plane here. I'm talking about energetically. I'm talking about spiritually. I'm talking about your heart-wise, being open, being vulnerable. If you've been saving yourself for something real, something sacred, something special to you and to the other person, that energy is here, but you got to choose that. Right? Because if you want that, you cannot operate from an old timeline that tells you relationships got to be difficult. They do not have to be difficult. Okay? The looping energy that's showing up here that you need to pay attention to is this: sadness and home. Remember, I told you that the lessons are going to be happening in your personal relationships. Okay? These activations that's happening in you, all right, are going to be triggered through personal relationships, whether it's an encounter with somebody that you just met, or whether it's in your marriage, whether it's your children. These things are going to be triggered and initiated through relationships. Okay? So there's some sadness energy looping here. And this is happening on the home front, right? So what from the past that has you feeling sad, or has you in regret, or has you in denial, or has you whatever that lower frequency is that's keeping you stuck in this sadness. One of the things that my eyes are drawn to is this paint board thing right here with the paint on it. If you look at this, you're painting your story. What are you painting? Over here, there's some more books. You got 5 showing up here. 5 is the number of change. You got 35 showing up over here, right? 8, new beginnings. What change needs to happen? What have you been looping that you're sad about? What have you been looping in regret about? What have you been looping in unforgiveness about? Now I'm going to ask you to just take a deep breath and drop into your body and feel where the energy just locks into. Just take a deep breath. Let your shoulders fall. Where did that energy hit you? Did it hit you in your root chakra? Was there some tightness in your lower abdomen? Was there some tightness in your chest? Was there some tightness in your throat? All of these mean something. If the tightness is in the lower abdomen, that there's something that you're holding on to. Your fight or survival mode. We no longer have to be in survival mode. Energetically, that needs to change in this new timeline. You cannot operate in this new timeline in survival mode. What regrets are popping up? What denials are popping up? What's showing up that you need to embrace, especially on the home front? Now, for those of you that don't have kids, it doesn't necessarily have to be children. It doesn't necessarily have to be a husband. This could be something that you hold dear to you that evolves around your day-to-day life. This could be a job that funds the home front. The looping energy here is resonance attract. What you're resonating on is going to attract that in what you experience. The loop here is sadness, especially in the home front. And home could simply be you. Home could simply be a relationship. Okay? Drop in and pay attention to what part of your nervous system is crying out to you. And if you have not checked out the Gateway to Healing Your Nervous System video, you need to go ahead and check that out. But we're also going to be breaking that down in these videos too, right? So we're laying the foundation. The foundation is resonant physics exists. Light frequency amplifies each other. Matching energy attracts matching energy. Your nervous system emits oscillation, aka it vibrates, and your DNA are the antennas. So what message are you sending through your body? What stress signals are you sending to your body that tells your body to tighten up because we're not safe, instead of relaxing because we are safe? Do you know how much people are walking around not feeling safe in their bodies? You were not meant to walk around and not feel safe in your body. All right, let's take a look and see where this energy is unfolding. You got the waterfall. And the waterfall energy, when the card lands like this, I contribute this to looking in the past. This is past energy. Okay? That's past energy. Now, I want to say, even when we're looking at water, water represents emotions. Water can represent clarity. Water can represent purity. Water can represent intuition, right? Water can represent all of these things. So it's not blinding me that sadness is showing up here, that you're being asked to choose a new timeline here that is connected to your emotions, your intuition, you know, your creativity. Your nervous system in this technology and the mastery of 12, your emotions is the key to all of this. It is the key. You are going to have to become a master of your emotions. Your emotions is going to let you know what is off in your body. Some of you may have felt like you lost yourself, you lost your power, you don't know who you are. Some of you may feel like you've unintentionally given your power away because you love others more than you loved yourself. Some of you, it was purely you going along with somebody else's agenda or plan instead of really, really tapping into what you wanted or the signs that that's not what you wanted. Some of you, this can be falling into a depressive state because you were not being your true self and living your life according to what others dictated. This shows up to let you know you no longer have to represent anybody's perception of who you are. This is showing up that you no longer have to be sad. You no longer have to be hurt. You no longer have to be resentful. You don't have to do it anymore. It's time to tap into your waterfall overflow of love for yourself. Your cup runneth over. Your cup runneth over means first you got to fill yourself before you can share with another person. Your cup runneth over. But first you got to fill your cup. How are you filling other people's cups? And your cup is not filled. But you're walking around silently suffering. Resonance physics. Like frequencies amplify each other. Like energies match each other. Coherence versus incoherence. You cannot have clarity when you're operating in incoherence. You cannot. You can get clarity in incoherence, but if you're operating in incoherence, you can't get. And when I say operating in incoherence, meaning you're operating in sadness, you're operating in fear, you're operating in doubt. Coherence is you're clear. I was giving away my power, but I'm not doing that anymore. I was hurt, but I don't have to hold on to that pain anymore. I did allow other people's opinions, right, to dictate how I live my life, but I don't have to do that anymore. I was feeling depressed because I didn't know the truth of how powerful, how beautiful, how worthy I am, but I don't have to do that anymore. This energy is unfolding on you, giving away your power, giving away your sovereignty, pouring into other people more than you've poured into yourself. And the interesting part about it is, listen, when you start to pour into yourself, please know that these people are not going to be happy about that. Some of them may even have a temper tantrum. They are not going to be happy about that. Just please know that. Resonance physics is the first foundation that you need to learn as we are building the mastery of 12. All right? I'll be writing about this stuff, okay? You guys are going to be getting this information in bits because I do not want to blow your nervous system out. There are some things that you need to understand so you can be able to operate the ancient technology, aka you. You are the ancient technology, my love. You are your own guru, my love. You do not need anybody else to channel to source for you. You can do that yourself. I tell a lot of my clients when they come to me, I'm just here to confirm what you already know. I'm just here to confirm what you already know. How do you navigate this energy? I can't make this up. You navigate this energy. Excuse me. It says here, it is time to walk your true path, for you are divinely protected. That's how you navigate all of this. It's time to walk your true path because you are divinely protected. Which means you need to shine bright, my love. Which means you need to start telling yourself the truth about you. Which means that you need to allow the people, the places, the things, the situations that are exiting your life organically without you having to do anything but maybe create some healthy boundaries, or maybe just simply say inside of yourself, in that inner voice, simply say, I'm ready for this change. Do you know when you simply surrender to the part of you internally, not an external surrender? I'm talking about an internal surrender. Do you know when you surrender internally, that magnifies it even more powerfully for the external world to change? So I'm not talking about physically getting up and moving something. I'm talking about internally embracing and accepting the change that's needed. Why? Because resonance physics says, right? Like frequency amplifies each other. So if you internally agree that this change is needed because it is time for you to be in your truth and it is time for you to walk your path, do you not know by you resonating from within, this truth is going to be verified and amplified externally? What do we say here on this channel? Don't we say that we do not need any external validation because truth is going to produce external verification? Resonance physics. Like frequency amplifies each other. Energy matches energy. Clarity versus chaos. Or clarity versus anxiety. Clarity versus depression. Your nervous system is online, whether or not you want to work it or not. It's been distorted and it's been, I want to say, bombarded and corrupted for years. But if you're ready to tap in and heal yourself and take control of your own vibration or oscillation within your body, aka your nervous system, so your DNA, the antennas in you can snap on and come into place and activate those 12 strands of what they may say is dormant energy, and it is not. You know, that energy is your lineage from past lifetime. That energy leads you back to where you originated from. Even when Atlantis fell, Atlantis did not fall because of a big boom. Atlantis fell because the grid got overloaded and distorted. What grid are you talking about? Come on, the same grid that runs through your body, the nervous system. The earth has a grid like that. The ethers have a grid like that. The cosmos have a grid like that. All of these grids are connected energetically. And how do you tap into these energies? You tap into these energies by feeling these energies, because you cannot always see them. They're subtle, right? They have to be felt. And your nervous system is a gateway to all of this. But we have not been taught that. But what we have been taught is to have our nervous system constantly running high on cortisols, right? Constantly running high, constantly in stress mode, constantly in survival mode. The energies now in the ethers, aka the cosmos, with your three-eye atlas and your A6 lemon. And let me just say, within the next 4 to 5 years, you're going to see a lot more things happening in the sky, because this is a soul timeline that we are in, not approaching. We are here. The old timeline is being distorted. That year 2025 has 3 arrows running through it, numerology wise. An arrow of distortion, or aka disorder, an arrow of poor memory, and an arrow of passivity. But if we're working with the ancient calendar, that's still year to date, one of the most accurate calendar. That year vibrates in 7530. There's only one line running through that calendar, numerology wise, and it's a line of spirituality. So yeah, the split is here and it's happening. And it's not something that you're going to see externally at first. It's something that's felt internally at first. Why? You ask, more why? Because resonance physics tells us, right? Like frequency amplifies each other. So your frequency internally needs to be tuned so it can be amplified externally, because you do not need external validation. Because your truth and who you are and how you move in the timeline that you're going to be operating in is going to produce external verification. All right, let's get Spirit's message, and we're going to wrap this up, okay? We're going to get Spirit's message, and then we're going to go ahead and summarize and wrap this up. So your lesson today was simple. Take this with you and move with it, all right? You don't got to know how to calculate it. You don't got to be in the lab testing it. All you need to know is a simple version of frequencies amplify each other. Energy matches energy. Coherence is clarity. Incoherence is distortion. You're not clear, okay? Your nervous system oscillates, which means it vibrates. Right? And your DNA is the antennas that's paying attention to what your nervous system is saying. All right, I can't make this up. Spirit is saying tap into the truth. What's your truth? What's your truth? All right, let's recap. The sacred tone that came out in today's transmission is soul time energy. What timeline are you going to choose? Your choice. Past timelines, past sadness, past hurts, past regrets, your choice. Soul time energy is also pairing up with Gaia and saying that you can have a beautiful experience right here on this earth. You don't have to die to have this experience. It can unfold right here on earth. Yes, it can. Absolutely, it can. The looping energy is sadness, and especially if something or someone that has been close to home, okay? That's the looping energy. How this is showing up and how it's unfolding is through your emotions. Maybe lack of creativity, maybe feeling depressed, maybe feeling overwhelmed, maybe feeling regret. maybe feeling shame. And it's a holiday season, so right now there's a lot of that going on. That's another energy grabber that fucks with your nervous system. Okay? Especially if you were taught that you needed to have this amount to have a good Christmas, or you needed to have that to have, all of that. Now that we know how the energy is looping, now that we know how the energy is unfolding, the message is simple of how you are to navigate this is, it's time to walk your path of truth. And as you walk that path of truth, you need to know that you are divinely protected. You are protected. Absolutely protected. Remember, like frequencies amplify each other. Right? Remember, energy matches energy. Remember, coherence. Right? And incoherence. Coherence is clarity. Incoherence is you are not clear. You don't know if you're coming or you're going. Right? And the wisdom that spirits wants to get to you as we are closing out this message is it's time for you to find the truth within you. It's time to find the truth within you. It's time for you to tap in and see those beautiful experiences that you want to have. It's time for you to stop protecting yourself from yourself and start loving yourself. You've protected yourself so much from other people that you don't even, know that you're protecting yourself from yourself, which means that you're not tapping into the parts of you that wants to speak from the place of why you sad or why you, felt hurt over that situation, or why even this past situation is popping up in your experience right now. This card represents bringing whatever unsettled emotions or suppressed emotions that you had. Especially if you were a child, maybe you were not good enough, maybe you were not going to have enough, whatever that was. It is time for you to bring energy to that child within, and not a child, an energy of protecting. No, because you're already divinely protected. This energy has to be an energy of love, an energy of truth. Your inner child needs love, and it needs truth, and it needs fun, and it needs laughter, and it needs bliss. It does not need to be in survival mode. You do not need to be in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, your nervous system is in incoherence. It is in disorder. It is in chaos. And my loves, you do not need to stand in chaos anymore. You can regulate chaos from within. You may not be able to control what other people do, what other people say, where other people go, how other people behave. But guess what? You can control every aspect of you. Every aspect of you. Every aspect of you can control. And I'm talking on a mental, emotional, and physical level. Your mind is a powerful thing. But your heart that governs all of this, is the most powerful thing. Drop into your body. Allow your body to tell you what you need to know in the moment. Okay? All right, so we're going to close out today's transmission and today's lesson. All right? Now, this is the first video, all right, that we're building on the mastery of the 12. What you do need to know as I close this out is keeping in mind resonance physics, light frequencies amplify each other, which means that if you're out here operating in chaos and that's the frequency you're resonating, you are going to meet chaos and it's going to be amplified. If you're out here resonating love, you are going to meet love and it's going to be amplified. Okay? So energy matches energy, which leads me to say this too, because I've been, this came out a couple of months ago. You can keep that same energy vibe is one of the splits that's here, right? So keep that same energy is the vibe a lot of people are walking around with. Okay, and I'm definitely walking around with keep that same energy because I'm keeping my same energy. I know where I'm vibrating on, so you can keep your same energy in mind, knowing that energy is matching energy. So be mindful of what energy you keeping, honey. Okay, that's gonna be important. All right. Coherence versus incoherence, clarity versus chaos. All right, pay attention to that. The path of least resistance is the path that you need to travel because that is the path that is going to help your nervous system to relax. Your nervous system knows before you even know. There's at least a 3 second of inner knowing before you can see something physically happening. Do you know that a person driving in a car accident may even feel the impact or brace themselves 3 seconds before anything happens? There's a knowing. There's a little 3 seconds, You need to understand that your nervous system also oscillates, aka vibrates, and your DNA are antennas. What are your nervous system oscillating? Stress, or they oscillating relaxation, wholeness? All right. Okay, so you guys know the deal. You want to go ahead and you want to do something kind for yourself because you absolutely should. If your cup is not full and running over, you cannot pour out of a cup that's empty. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. And also, you want to go ahead and do something kind for somebody, not because they deserve it. No, right? But because you can, right? Because happiness is contagious, bliss is contagious, confidence is contagious, love is contagious, honey, okay? So you can go ahead and spread all of those wonderful things just by giving somebody a smile, by saying hi, by saying beautiful day. All right? Okay, so we are out of here. Transmission is over and transmission is closed. I love you guys much, and I'm going to see you in the next video, which is going to be about breath, okay?